The rain comes down like bullets in New Orleans, hard and unforgiving, turning Bourbon Street into a river of neon reflections and broken dreams. Maya Russo's fingers are stiff from the cold as she pushes through the door of the Blind Tiger, a dive bar that smells like cigarettes, spilled whiskey, and desperation. Her hair is plastered to her face, her secondhand coat doing nothing to keep out the November chill that seeps into her bones. "You're late," Marcel calls from behind the bar, not looking up from the glass he's polishing. He's been the owner here for 20 years, seen 1,000 girls like her come and go, each one thinking they're different, thinking they're just passing through on their way to something better. The streetcar broke down. Maya peels off her coat, hangs it on the hook by the kitchen where it'll drip onto already stained linoleum. Her fingers find the small locket at her throat, the one thing she has left from before the fire, before everything changed. "I ran the last 6 blocks. Marcel grunts, which is as close to sympathy as he gets. "Piano tuner came yesterday. Should sound better. Tips have been down, though. Folks want cover songs, not your classical stuff." If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Maya bites back the response that lives permanently on her tongue. She has a master's degree in classical piano from Loyola. She's played in competitions, won scholarships, studied under masters who told her she had the touch, that rare thing that separated competent from transcendent. But her grandmother's cancer doesn't care about her pedigree, and Street Catherine's hospice doesn't accept payment and applause. She makes her way to the piano in the corner, a battered upright that's been in this bar longer than she's been alive. Someone carved initials into the side. The middle C sticks. But when she sits down, fingers finding the keys, something inside her that's been clenched tight all day finally relaxes. This is the only time she feels like herself anymore. Not Maya, the struggling musician. Not Maya, the orphan. Not Maya, the granddaughter watching the only person who ever loved her fade away in a sterile room that smells like antiseptic and death. Just Maya. Just music. She starts with something safe. Piano Man. The tourists love it. A few people at the bar turn, give her that absent attention that comes from being background noise. She plays, loses herself in the familiar progressions, and tries not to think about the hospital bill in her purse. $3,000. Due in 2 weeks, or they'll move her grandmother to the county facility, and Maya's seen those places. They're where people go to die alone. The crowd at the Blind Tiger is the usual mix tonight. Regulars nursing drinks they'll make last 3 hours. Tourists who wandered too far off the main drag looking for authentic New Orleans. The occasional college kid from Tulane slumming it before heading back to their dorm room that costs more per month than Maya makes in 3. She plays, for 2 hours straight, her usual set. Requests that come with wrinkled dollar bills, Sweet Home Alabama, Brown-Eyed Girl, songs she could play in her sleep, which is good because part of her brain is always somewhere else. Calculating. The electric bill is due Friday. She needs to eat something besides ramen this week. Her grandmother's medication costs $200 even with insurance. Around 10 o'clock, the door opens and the temperature in the room drops. Maya feels it before she sees it. The way conversations die mid-sentence. The way Marcel's hand freezes on the bottle he's pouring. The way every person in the bar suddenly finds their drink incredibly interesting. Eyes down, bodies turning inward like animals sensing a predator. She finishes the chorus of Landslide and glances up. 6 men in suits that cost more than her car. Not the kind of suits you see in New Orleans unless it's Mardi Gras season and you're in the Garden District. These are custom-tailored, Italian, the kind that whisper money and power and danger. They move through the bar like they own it, and maybe they do. Maybe they own the whole block, the whole city. But it's the 7th man who makes her fingers still on the keys. He's tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair swept back from a face that belongs on a Roman coin. Sharp jaw, high cheekbones, a mouth that looks like it forgot how to smile years ago. But it's his eyes that stop her breath. Dark brown, almost black, and completely empty. Not cruel, not angry, just void of anything that makes a person human. He surveys the room with the casual authority of a king inspecting his kingdom, and when his gaze sweeps past her, Maya feels it like a physical touch. Cold, assessing, then dismissing her as unimportant. They take a table in the back corner, the one that's always reserved even though there's no sign saying so. The one that gives a clear view of the entrance and exits. Marcel appears within seconds, no menu offered, just a bottle of something expensive that doesn't live on the shelf behind the bar. Maya realizes she's staring and forces her eyes back to the keys. Her hands are shaking. She starts playing again. Something soft and unobtrusive. Georgia on My Mind. Her grandmother's favorite. Though Nana's never been to Georgia in her life. The men talk in low voices that don't carry. One of them laughs. A sharp bark that makes the couple at the nearest table flinch and gather their things. The exodus is subtle but steady. Within 20 minutes, the bar has cleared by half. Smart people know when to leave. Maya keeps playing, trying to be invisible. This is a survival skill she learned young. Orphans learn fast how to read a room, how to make themselves small. These men are dangerous. Everything about them screams it, from the way they sit with their backs to walls, to the bulges under their jackets that might be phones but probably aren't. She transitions into Moon River, her fingers finding the familiar melody without thought. Muscle memory taking over while her brain catalogs exits. The front door. The kitchen, which leads to an alley. The bathroom window, though she's not sure she'd fit. One of the men at the table answers his phone. Speaks in rapid Italian. She catches fragments. Her mother was Sicilian. Spoke it at home before the fire, before everything. Domani, il porto. Tre case. Tomorrow. The port. 3 crates. Maya's hands stumble on a cord. She recovers quickly, but not before the man with the empty eyes glances her way. His gaze is sharp now, focused, and she feels pinned under it like a butterfly on a board. She looks away, heart hammering, and does something stupid. She plays without thinking, her fingers moving to a melody that lives somewhere deep in her muscle memory. A lullaby. Slow and haunting, in a minor key that sounds like heartbreak. Her mother used to sing it, voice soft in the dark when Maya couldn't sleep. After the fire, her grandmother would hum it sometimes, tears streaming down her weathered face. Nina nana, Nina oh, questo bimbo a chilo do. The words surface in her mind, half remembered. A Sicilian lullaby about a mother giving her child to the angels for safekeeping. Morbid, maybe, but beautiful, achingly beautiful. She's so lost in the music, in the memory of her mother's voice, that she doesn't notice the reaction at the back table. Doesn't see the man with empty eyes go completely still, his glass frozen halfway to his mouth. Doesn't see the color drain from his face, leaving him pale as a ghost. Doesn't see him set down his glass with a hand that trembles, just barely. She plays the lullaby through to its end, the final notes hanging in the air like smoke. Then she transitions into something else, something safe and meaningless. And only then does she look up. The man is staring at her. Not assessing anymore. Not dismissing. Staring with an intensity that makes her stomach drop. His face has gone from empty to something else entirely. Shock. Recognition. And underneath it all, rage starting to kindle like a fire that's been banked too long. He stands abruptly, his chair scraping back. The sound cuts through the bar like a gunshot. His men tense, hands moving to jackets, reading his mood like a weather vane. He walks toward her, and Maya's every instinct screams run. But she's frozen, hands still on the keys, as he crosses the room with long, predatory strides. He stops in front of the piano. Up close, he's even more devastating. Tall enough that she has to tilt her head back to meet his eyes, broad enough to block out the rest of the room. And those eyes, no longer empty, now burning with something intense and dangerous. Where did you learn that song? His voice is deep, rough, with the faintest trace of an accent that speaks of Sicilian roots buried under years of American vowels. Maya's mouth is dry. My mother used to sing it. Your mother. He says it flat, not a question. His jaw clenches, a muscle ticking. What was your mother's name? I don't. Maya starts, but he leans forward, hands flat on the piano, bracketing her in. What was your mother's name? Isabella. The word comes out barely above a whisper. Isabella Russo. She died when I was 8. Something flickers across his face. His eyes search hers, cataloging features. The shape of her face, her dark eyes, the stubborn set of her chin. He's looking for something, and whatever he sees makes his expression shift from rage to something more complicated. Play it again. He commands. I don't. Play it again. Maya's fingers find the keys before her brain can catch up. The lullaby spills out, slower this time. More careful. She watches his face as she plays, sees the way his eyes close briefly, sees pain crack through that carefully controlled exterior. When she finishes, the silence is absolute. Even the ambient noise of the bar has died away. Everyone is watching, though they're trying not to be obvious about it. The man opens his eyes. When he speaks, his voice is so quiet she almost doesn't hear it. Only my father knew that song. Each word is precise, controlled, like he's fighting to keep something massive contained. He learned it from his sister, before she married some nobody and disappeared from the family, before we were told she died in a house fire, along with her husband and daughter. Maya's heart stops. What? My father sang that lullaby to me when I was a child. To me and no one else. It was our secret, something from the old country that his sister taught him. His hands curl into fists on the piano. And then you walk into this bar and play it like it's nothing. Like it's just another song. I don't understand, Maya whispers. But she's starting to. Pieces are clicking together in a way that makes no sense and perfect sense all at once. Who taught your mother that lullaby? He demands. Her brother. She said he taught her. Before. Maya's voice trails off. Before she left Sicily. Before she married Maya's father, the nobody American she met in Rome. Before the family cut her off. The man's eyes are burning into hers now. My father's name was Antonio Salvatore. He had a sister, Isabella, who ran away when she was 19 to marry an American artist. The family disowned her. And 6 years later, we received word that she and her family died in a fire in New Orleans. The room is spinning. Maya's fingers grip the edge of the piano, knuckles white. My mother's maiden name was Salvatore. Caso. He breathes. It's a curse, vicious and sharp. He straightens, runs a hand through his hair, and for the first time looks something other than coldly controlled. He looks shaken. Isabella had a daughter, you, who supposedly died at 8 years old. The fire. Maya starts. Was supposed to kill all of you. He finishes, his voice going cold again. Hard. Someone wanted your mother's entire family dead. And someone made sure we believed it happened. One of his men approaches, speaks low and urgent in Italian. The man, Salvatore, she realizes. That's his name, waves him off without looking away from Maya. What's your full name? He asks. Maya Isabella Russo. How did you survive the fire? My father pushed me out a window. I broke my arm, but I lived. They didn't. The old grief is there, familiar as breathing. My grandmother took me in. My father's mother. We've been in New Orleans ever since. Salvatore stares at her for a long moment. She can see him processing, calculating, piecing together a puzzle she doesn't fully understand yet. You're Isabella's daughter, he says finally. Which makes you Antonio's niece. Which makes you... He stops, and something like dark humor crosses his face. Which makes you my cousin. The words hang in the air between them. Maya opens her mouth, closes it, opens it again. You're what? My cousin. Antonio Salvatore was my father. His eyes are burning into hers now. And she sees it finally. The thing she missed before. They have the same eyes, the same stubborn chin, the same hands, long-fingered and strong. I'm Dominic Salvatore. And if you're really Isabella's daughter, then someone went to a lot of trouble to make sure we never found out you existed. The implication settles over her like a shroud. Someone tried to kill my entire family, Maya says slowly, the pieces falling into place, and made it look like they succeeded. Yes. His voice is soft now, deadly. And when I find out who, they're going to wish they had died in that fire instead. He straightens, pulls out his phone, makes a call. His voice is clipped, commanding. Marco, I need you to pull every file we have on the Russo family. Isabella Salvatore's marriage. The fire in 2015. Everything. I want it on my desk in an hour. He ends the call, looks back at her. You're coming with me. I'm what? You're not safe here. If someone finds out you're alive, he doesn't finish the sentence. Doesn't need to. You're coming with me. Now. I can't just leave. I have a grandmother in hospice. I have bills. Your grandmother will receive the best care available. Your bills will be paid. But you, he leans close, and his voice drops to something intimate and terrifying. "You are a dead woman walking until I figure out who tried to kill you and why. So you can come with me willingly, or I can have my men carry you out. Your choice." Maya looks past him to the bar, where Marcel is very deliberately not looking their way. To the men in suits, all watching her with predatory interest. To the empty street beyond the window, rain still falling like bullets. She looks back at Dominic Salvatore, this man who claims to be her cousin, who carries danger like a second skin, whose father sang him the same lullaby her mother sang to her. She thinks about her grandmother dying alone in a hospice room she can barely afford, about the hospital bills, about the fear that's lived in her chest since she was 8 years old, the sense that she's never quite safe, never quite whole. "Fine," she says, "but I need to see my grandmother first." Something flickers in his eyes. Respect, maybe, or just recognition that she's as stubborn as he is, that same Salvatore blood running through both their veins. "Tomorrow morning, early, my men will pick you up at 6. He pulls out a card, sets it on the piano. Heavy stock, embossed letters. Just a name and a phone number. "You call this number if anything feels wrong tonight. You see someone watching you. You hear something strange. You call." "Okay," Maya whispers. He studies her for another moment, and something in his expression softens, just barely. "You look like her, my aunt. I only met her once, when I was very young. But I remember her eyes. You have her eyes." Then he turns and walks away, his men falling into formation around him. They leave the same way they came. A force of nature that bends the world to its will. The door closes behind them, and the bar seems to exhale collectively. Maya sits at the piano, staring at the card in her hand, and realizes her entire life just changed. Again. Marcel appears at her elbow with a whiskey, sets it down without comment. She's never drunk on the job before, but she picks up the glass and drains it in one burning swallow. "You know who that was?" Marcel asks finally. "My cousin, apparently." Marcel laughs, but it's not a happy sound. "That was Dominic Salvatore. He runs the Salvatore family. Controls half the port, most of the gambling, probably more I don't want to know about." He fixes her with a serious look. "He's dangerous, girl. Most dangerous man in New Orleans, some say." "He's my cousin," Maya repeats, because saying it out loud might make it feel real. "Then you just became the most dangerous woman in New Orleans," Marcel says. "Question is, to who? To the Salvatore's enemies? Or to Dominic himself?" Maya doesn't have an answer. She looks down at the piano keys, at her fingers that know how to make beautiful things from ivory and wood, and wonders what the hell she's gotten herself into. She plays one more song before she leaves. The lullaby. All the way through. Every verse her mother taught her. And somewhere in the rain-soaked streets of New Orleans, she imagines Dominic Salvatore hearing it too, remembering his father's voice, and wondering like she is what it means that they've found each other after all these years, what it means that someone tried so hard to keep them apart, and what's going to happen now that they've failed. Maya's apartment is a third-floor walk-up in the Bywater, the kind of place where the stairs creak and the walls are thin enough to hear your neighbor's arguments. She climbs them slowly, exhaustion pulling at her limbs. It's past 2 in the morning and she has to be up at 5:30 if Salvatore's men are really coming at 6. Salvatore, Dominic, her cousin. She still can't wrap her mind around it. Inside her apartment, she locks the door, checks it twice, then adds the chain for good measure. The space is tiny, a studio with a kitchenette that's more suggestion than reality, and a bathroom where you have to stand sideways to close the door. But it's hers. Or at least, it's the place where she keeps her things and tries to sleep when the nightmares let her. She strips off her damp clothes, stands under a hot shower until the chill finally leaves her bones. When she closes her eyes, she sees his face. Dominic Salvatore, those dark eyes that looked into her like he could see everything she was trying to hide. "Your grandmother will receive the best care available." The words echo in her mind. She wants to believe them. God, she wants to believe them. But trusting strangers has never been her strong suit. And this stranger, cousin or not, is clearly used to getting what he wants through means she doesn't want to think about. She dries off, pulls on an oversized t-shirt, and climbs into bed. Sleep should be impossible, but exhaustion wins. She's just drifting off when her phone buzzes. Unknown number. Her heart kicks up. She almost doesn't answer, but then she remembers the card. "Anything feels wrong," he'd said. "Hello? It's Dominic." His voice is quieter than it was in the bar, but no less commanding. "You made it home safely. It's not a question." Which means he had someone follow her. "You had me followed," she says. "I had you protected. There's a difference." A pause. "Did you check your locks?" "Yes. Good. There's a man in a black sedan across the street. His name is Paolo. He'll be there until my men pick you up in the morning." Maya goes to the window, peers through the blinds. Sure enough, there's a dark sedan parked under the streetlight, just visible through the rain. "You can't just station guards outside my apartment." "I can. I did. You'll get used to it." Another pause. "Get some sleep, Maya. Tomorrow's going to be a long day." Wait, but he's already hung up. Maya stares at her phone, then back at the sedan outside. She should be angry. Should be scared. Should be a lot of things. But what she feels, underneath the exhaustion and confusion, is something she hasn't felt in years. Safe. Someone is watching over her. Someone who has the power to actually keep her safe, not just promise it. Someone who, despite being a stranger, is bound to her by blood in a way that means something in this world. She climbs back into bed, and this time when she closes her eyes, she sleeps dreamlessly for the first time since her grandmother's diagnosis. The knock comes at 5:58. Maya is ready, dressed in jeans, and the only coat that isn't threadbare, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She's packed a small bag with clothes, toiletries, her laptop, the practical things. She left her mother's locket on, the one piece of jewelry she never takes off. She opens the door to find two men in dark suits. One is older, maybe 50, with silver at his temples and the kind of face that's seen things. The other is younger, mid-20s, with a baby face that's at odds with the gun clearly visible under his jacket. "Miss Russo," the older one says. "I'm Marco. This is Tony. Mr. Salvatore sent us to collect you." "Is that what we're calling it? Collecting me?" Marco's mouth twitches. Almost a smile. "Would you prefer escorting you to safety?" "I'd prefer asking if I'd like a ride." "Would you like a ride, Miss Russo?" "No. But I'm getting in the car anyway." She grabs her bag, locks her door, and follows them down the stairs. The black sedan from last night is still there, but now there's a black SUV waiting at the curb. Marco opens the back door for her, and she slides in. The leather seats are butter soft, probably worth more than her entire apartment. There's a privacy screen between the front and back, currently down. "We're going to Street Catherine's first," she tells them. "I need to see my grandmother." "Mr. Salvatore anticipated that. Marco pulls into traffic smoothly. "We'll take you to the hospice, then to the house." The house, like there's only one that matters. They drive through New Orleans in the early morning light, the city slowly waking up, past the French Quarter where tourists are already starting to gather, past the Garden District where houses sprawl behind iron gates, out toward Metairie, where Street Catherine sits like a mission among live oaks draped in Spanish moss. Maya has made this drive hundreds of times, has walked these halls, sat in that room, held her grandmother's hand while machines beeped and nurses spoke in hushed tones. But today it feels different, like she's seeing it through new eyes. Marco and Tony follow her in, standing outside the room while she enters. Her grandmother Nonna is asleep, her breathing shallow and labored. She looks smaller than she did last week, frailer, like she's slowly disappearing into the sheets. Maya takes her hand, careful of the IV, and Nonna's eyes flutter open. They're cloudy with medication, but they focus on Maya's face, and something like relief crosses her features. "Tesoro," she whispers. "Treasure. You came." "I always come, Nonna." Maya kisses her papery cheek. "How are you feeling?" "Tired." A pause. "I had a dream last night. About your mother." Maya's hand tightens on Nonna's. "What kind of dream?" "She was singing. That lullaby she used to sing to you, the one from the old country." Nonna's eyes drift closed again. "She was happy, Tesoro," she said. She said it was time. Time for what? But Nonna has slipped back into sleep, her breathing evening out. Maya sits with her for another 20 minutes, holding her hand, memorizing the feel of it. These moments are numbered now. Every visit might be the last. When she finally leaves, Marco is waiting in the hallway. "Mr. Salvatore has arranged for a private nurse," he says quietly. Around the clock, care. Whatever your grandmother needs. Maya's throat tightens. He didn't have to do that. Yes, he did. Your family now, Miss Russo. And the Salvatores take care of their own. The Salvatore estate sits behind 12-foot walls in the Garden District, the kind of place that whispers old money and older secrets. The gates open automatically as they approach, closing behind them with a finality that makes Maya's stomach clench. The house itself is a Greek Revival mansion, all white columns and wide verandas, surrounded by gardens that probably require a full-time staff. It's beautiful in the way museums are beautiful, impressive, untouchable, cold. Marco leads her inside, through a foyer with marble floors and a chandelier that cost more than she'll make in her lifetime. The click of their footsteps echoes off high ceilings. Everything is pristine, elegant, and completely devoid of warmth. Mr. Salvatore is in his office, Marco says. This way. They walk down a long hallway lined with portraits. Stern-faced men in various decades of fashion, all sharing the same dark eyes, the same stubborn chin, the Salvatore lineage, preserved in oil and arrogance. Marco knocks on a heavy wooden door, opens it without waiting for an answer. Miss Russo, sir? The office is exactly what she expected. Dark wood paneling, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a desk that probably belonged to someone important once. And behind it, Dominic Salvatore, looking no less dangerous in daylight than he did in the shadows of the bar. He's on the phone, speaking rapid Italian that Maya can follow better than she wants to admit. Something about a shipment and payment and someone named Gianni who apparently screwed up. His tone is cold, precise, and absolutely final. He ends the call, sets the phone down, and looks at her. Really looks at her, in the full light of morning. His expression doesn't change, but something flickers in his eyes. You look exhausted, he says. I wonder why. The sarcasm slips out before she can stop it. Maybe because I was up until 3 a.m. processing the fact that my entire life is a lie. His mouth twitches. Almost a smile. Sit. It's not a request, but Maya sits anyway, more because her legs are shaking than because he told her to. The leather chair is deep and comfortable, and she hates how good it feels after the hard wooden bench at the hospice. Dominic pulls a file folder from his desk, slides it across to her. This is everything we found on your family last night. Maya opens it with trembling fingers. Inside are documents she's never seen, birth certificates, marriage licenses, immigration papers for her grandparents, and photos, old ones, faded, showing people she recognizes and people she doesn't. There's her mother, young and laughing, standing next to a man who looks remarkably like Dominic, Antonio Salvatore, she realizes. His father, her uncle. My father kept these, Dominic says quietly. Even after we were told Isabella died, he kept them, hidden in his private safe, like he couldn't quite let her go. Maya traces her mother's face with one finger. She's so young in this photo, maybe 18, before she met Maya's father, before she ran away from this life. There's more, Dominic continues. His voice has gone hard again. The fire that killed your parents wasn't an accident. We already suspected, but now we have confirmation. Someone paid a man named Eddie Russo no relation to start it. He died 2 years later, in what was ruled a mugging. Convenient. Who paid him? Maya's voice is barely above a whisper. That's what we're going to find out. He leans forward, elbows on the desk. But Maya, whoever did this is still out there. They think you died in that fire. If they find out you didn't, they'll finish the job. Yes, his eyes bore into hers. Which is why you're staying here. Under my protection. Until we find them and deal with them. Deal with them, Maya repeats. She knows what that means. Has heard enough stories. Watched enough movies. You mean kill them? I mean make sure they can never threaten you again. He doesn't flinch from it. Doesn't soften it. This is what we do, Maya. This is who we are. And like it or not, you're part of this family now. Which means you're under our protection. Whether you want it or not. Maya closes the file, sets it carefully on the desk. Her hands are steady, which surprises her. And if I say no? If I walk out that door right now? Then you'd make it about 3 blocks before the Marconis pick you up. The Marconis? Our rivals. They've been circling for years, looking for weakness. He stands, moves to the window that overlooks the gardens. They know I was at the Blind Tiger last night. They know I spoke to you. By now, They've figured out who you are, and they'll use you to get to me if they can. How flattering. I'm bait. He turns, and there's something in his expression that makes her breath catch. You're not bait. You're family. There's a difference. The word hangs between them. Family. She's been alone for so long, just her and Nana against the world, that she forgot what it felt like to belong to something bigger. I have conditions, she says finally. His eyebrow rises. You're negotiating with me? My grandmother gets the best care. You already promised that, but I want it in writing. A contract that doesn't end if something happens to you. Done. What else? I need to keep playing. Music is. She stops, tries to find the words. It's the only thing that makes sense anymore. I need to keep playing. Something softens in his face. There's a music room, 3rd floor, East Wing, Steinway Grand. My father used to play. It's yours. Maya's heart clenches. A Steinway. She hasn't played on a real piano, a good piano, in years. Thank you. Anything else? Yes. She meets his eyes, refuses to look away. I want the truth, all of it. No more secrets, no more protection through ignorance. If I'm part of this family, if I'm in danger because of it, then I deserve to know everything. Dominic studies her for a long moment. She can see him calculating, weighing her strength against the weight of the truth he carries. All right, he says finally. But Maya, once you know, you can't unknow it. Once you see what this world really is, you can't unsee it. Are you sure? She thinks about her mother, running away from this life, about the fire that killed her parents, about playing piano in dive bars while her grandmother died by inches in a hospice she couldn't afford. I'm sure, she says. He nods slowly. Then welcome to the family, cousin. Try not to die. The woman who appears in the doorway an hour later is elegant in a way Maya has only seen in magazines. Mid-50s, with silver-streaked dark hair swept into a chignon, wearing a cashmere sweater set and pearls that are definitely real. So, you're Isabella's daughter, she says, her voice warm with a Sicilian accent, softened by decades in America. I can see her in your eyes. I'm Lucia, Dominic's mother. Maya stands quickly, suddenly aware of her thrift store jeans and secondhand coat. Mrs. Salvatore. Call me Lucia, please. And don't look so terrified. I don't bite. She sweeps into the room, brings with her the scent of expensive perfume and something else, cinnamon maybe. Like she's been baking. I've had the guest suite prepared for you. East Wing, 3rd floor. There's a bathroom, a sitting room, and the music room is just down the hall. That's very kind, but I don't want to impose. Impose? Lucia laughs, a bright sound that transforms her face. Tesoro, your family. Isabella was my sister-in-law, my friend. When we heard she died, her voice catches. It broke Antonio's heart. He was never the same after. And now here you are, alive, and looking so much like her it hurts. She reaches out, touches Maya's face with gentle fingers. You have her spirit too, I think. That fire, that strength. She would be so proud of you. Maya's throat tightens. She's not used to kindness from strangers. Isn't sure how to accept it without falling apart. Come, Lucia says, taking her hand. Let me show you your room, then you should rest. You look like you haven't slept properly in months. The guest suite is bigger than Maya's entire apartment. The bed is a 4-poster with linens that probably have a thread count higher than her rent. There's a sitting area with a couch and chairs, a bathroom with a soaking tub, and windows that overlook the gardens. I had some clothes brought in, Lucia says, opening the closet to reveal more outfits than Maya owns. Just basics for now. We can go shopping later if you'd like. Get you things that fit properly. Maya stares at the closet. Everything is her size. How did you know? I have my ways. Lucia's smile is mysterious. Now, rest. Dinner is at 7. Family dinner. Everyone will want to meet you. She leaves before Maya can protest, the door closing with a soft click. Maya stands in the middle of the room, surrounded by luxury she's never experienced, and feels more lost than she has since the night her parents died. She should be grateful. She knows that. Dominic is protecting her. Lucia is welcoming her. Her grandmother is getting the care she needs. Everything is falling into place. So why does she feel like she's losing herself? She moves to the window, looks out at gardens that are probably pruned and perfect year-round. In the distance, She can see the wall that surrounds the property, keeping people out, or keeping her in. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. You have 1 week to get out of that house. After that, we stop being nice. A friend Maya's blood runs cold. She stares at the message, reads it 3 times to make sure she's not imagining it. Someone knows she's here. Someone is watching. And they're giving her 7 days to run. She should tell Dominic. Should show him the message, let him handle it. But something stops her. Maybe it's the memory of her mother running from this life. Maybe it's the fear that once she fully commits to being a Salvatore, there's no going back. She deletes the message, blocks the number, and tells herself it's just a prank. But her hands are shaking as she climbs into the too-soft bed, and when she finally sleeps, she dreams of fire. Maya wakes to unfamiliar silence. No traffic sounds, no neighbors arguing through thin walls, no sirens in the distance. Just birds and the whisper of wind through leaves and something that might be water, a fountain, maybe. For a moment, she doesn't remember where she is. Then it crashes back. The bar. The lullaby. Dominic Salvatore, claiming her as family. The threatening text message. She checks her phone. 2 p.m. She slept for 6 hours, which is more than she usually gets in a week. Her body feels heavy, reluctant to move. When was the last time she felt safe enough to sleep this deeply? There's a soft knock on the door. Maya, are you awake? Not Lucia's voice. Younger, male. Maya pulls on one of the robes she finds in the closet silk, ridiculously soft, and opens the door. A boy stands in the hallway. 6, maybe 7. With Dominic's dark hair and solemn eyes. He's dressed carefully in pressed pants and a button-down shirt, like someone's tried very hard to make him presentable. They stare at each other for a long moment. Then the boy signs something, his small hands moving with practiced precision. I'm Luca. You play the piano. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. Maya's breath catches. Sign language. She learned it in college, thinking it might help with music theory, understanding rhythm and movement differently. She hasn't used it in years, but her hands remember. Yes, I play piano. I'm Maya. Luca's face lights up. Actually lights up, transforming from solemn to joyful in an instant. He signs rapidly. No one here knows how to sign except the teacher. Papa tries, but he's not very good. Will you play for me? Your papa is Dominic? Luca nods. He's the boss. Everyone's scared of him. But he's not scary to me. Just sad. The simple assessment from a 6-year-old's perspective is somehow more devastating than anything else. Dominic Salvatore, the most dangerous man in New Orleans, described by his son as sad. I'll play for you, Maya signs. When? Now? His eyes are so hopeful it hurts. Let me get dressed first. Luca waits patiently in the hallway while she pulls on jeans and a sweater from the closet. Both fit perfectly, which should probably concern her more than it does. When she emerges, he takes her hand with complete trust and leads her down the corridor. The music room is stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows let in. Afternoon light that falls across a black Steinway grand piano positioned to catch the sun. There are built-in bookshelves filled with sheet music, a cello in one corner, a violin case on a table. But it's the piano that draws her like gravity. She sits, runs her fingers over the keys without pressing down. The action is perfect. The instrument is perfectly in tune. This piano costs more than she'd make in 5 years. Luca climbs onto the bench beside her, signing. Papa doesn't play anymore. Not since Mama died. When did your mama die? 2 years ago. I was 4. His small face is too serious for someone so young. She was in a car. Someone shot her. Papa says it was an accident, but I think he's lying. Maya's heart cracks. This child has lived with violence, with loss, with the kind of fear that should never touch someone so young, and he's still somehow hopeful, still smiling. What do you want me to play? Something happy. Everyone here is always sad or angry. I want happy. So Maya plays. She starts with Claire de Luna, because it's beautiful and sad happy all at once. Then she flows into Gershwin, Rhapsody in Blue, letting her fingers dance across the keys. Luca watches with wide eyes, occasionally signing questions about the music that show he understands it better than most adults. She's in the middle of a Chopin etude when she senses someone in the doorway. Dominic stands there, still in his suit from this morning, tie loosened. He's watching them with an expression she can't read. Not angry, not happy. Something complicated that lives between the two. Luca notices him and signs rapidly. "Papa!" She knows how to sign, and she plays like the angels. "I can see that," Dominic says softly. His eyes find Maya's. "I didn't know you could sign." "College elective." "I'm rusty." "You don't look rusty." He steps into the room, and Maya notices the way he moves, always aware of his surroundings, always positioned where he can see the exits. Luca's speech therapist says he might speak again someday. After his mother died, he just stopped. Selective mutism, Maya says. It's common after trauma. "You know about this?" "I had it too. For 6 months after the fire. Didn't say a word. My grandmother was patient. Eventually I found my voice again through music." She looks at Luca, who's watching them both carefully. Music can speak when words can't. Something shifts in Dominic's expression. Could you work with him? His therapist comes 3 times a week, but maybe music. He trails off, and Maya sees it. The father beneath the Mafia boss. The man who would do anything for his son, even ask for help from a stranger. "I'd be happy to," she says. Luca signs something that makes Dominic's mouth twitch. He says you're his new favorite person. "Apparently, I'm only second now." "I'm honored," Maya signs to Luca. "What do you want to learn first?" "The lullaby. The one you played last night. Papa was humming it this morning. I've never heard him hum before." Maya's eyes fly to Dominic. He has the grace to look almost embarrassed. "I couldn't get it out of my head," he admits. "My father used to sing it when I had nightmares. It always made me feel safe." There's something vulnerable in the admission. This man who controls an empire, who orders deaths with a phone call, who everyone fears he's standing in a music room remembering his father's lullaby. "I can teach him," Maya says softly. Over the next hour, Maya teaches Luca the lullaby. His small fingers struggle with the reaches, but he's determined, focused. When he finally plays through the first verse without mistakes, he turns to his father with such pride that Dominic has to look away for a moment. When he looks back, his eyes are suspiciously bright. "Again," he says, his voice rough. "Play it again." So Luca plays, and Maya plays with him, their 4 hands finding harmony. And Dominic Salvatore, feared boss of the Salvatore family, stands in the doorway and listens to the lullaby his father sang to him, now being played by his son and the cousin he thought died 20 years ago. When they finish, the room is silent, except for the echo of the last note. "Beautiful," Dominic says finally. Then, to Maya, "Thank you. He's talented, with proper training, whatever he needs, whatever you both need." His phone buzzes. He checks it, and his expression hardens. "I have to go. Marco will be outside if you need anything. Don't leave the house." Dominic. But he's already walking away, back to whatever darkness waits for him beyond this room. Luca signs. He's always leaving. But he always comes back. Does that make you sad? Sometimes. But Nonna Lucia says he's keeping us safe, that the bad men can't hurt us as long as Papa is strong. Maya's chest tightens. Luca has accepted a reality that no 6-year-old should have to accept, that his father's violence, his power, his constant vigilance, is the only thing standing between him and danger, just like Maya's mother tried to protect her by running away. And look how that turned out. "Want to learn another song?" she signs, pushing away the dark thoughts. Luca's face lights up again, and they lose themselves in music until the sun sets, and Lucia appears to call them for dinner. The dining room is formal in a way that makes Maya's secondhand clothes feel even more inadequate. A table that seats 20, though tonight only 5 places are set. Crystal glasses. China that probably costs more than her car. Lucia at one end, an empty chair at the other. Dominic's place. "He'll join us when he can," Lucia says, reading Maya's expression. "Business often keeps him late. Come, sit beside me." Luca is already in his chair, signing something to a woman who must be his nanny. She's young, maybe 30, with kind eyes and patient hands as she signs back to him. "That's Teresa," Lucia explains. "She's wonderful with Luca. Studied child psychology. before coming to work for us. Maya sits, tries not to feel overwhelmed by the multiple forks and the hovering servants. A man in a suit, not the kind that suggests security. The kind that suggests he serves food, pours water into her crystal glass. You're probably wondering about all this, Lucia says, gesturing to the formal setup. Antonio insisted on maintaining certain traditions, formal dinners, proper place settings. He said we might be criminals, but we didn't have to be barbarians. There's affection in her voice when she speaks of her dead husband, and grief that's had 20 years to settle into something bearable. How did he die? Maya asks, then immediately regrets it. I'm sorry, that's too personal. No, it's all right. You should know. Lucia's face shadows. He was shot. Coming out of a restaurant in the quarter. Broad daylight, hundreds of witnesses, and no one saw anything. That's how these things work. Dominic must have been 15, too young to take over the family, but too proud to let anyone else do it. She takes a sip of wine. He grew up fast. Had to. The other families were circling, sensing weakness. He dealt with them. Brutally, efficiently. By the time he was 18, no one questioned his authority. That's terrible. That's necessary. Lucia's voice is gentle but firm. This world has rules, Maya. Harsh ones. Dominic learned them young. But underneath the boss, underneath the violence, he's still that 15-year-old boy who lost his father, who had to become a man before he knew how to be one. The first course arrives some kind of soup that smells incredible. Maya tastes it, tries not to moan at the flavor. When was the last time she ate something that wasn't ramen or diner food? Tomorrow, Lucia continues. I'll take you shopping. You need proper clothes, shoes, things that fit. And we should do something about your hair. Maya's hand flies self-consciously to her ponytail. What's wrong with my hair? Nothing. But when was the last time you had a cut that wasn't from a box salon? Is it that obvious? Lucia's smile is kind. Tesoro, you're beautiful. But you've been surviving, not living. Let us help you live again. Maya wants to argue. Wants to say she doesn't need their help, their money, their pity. But the truth is, she does. She's drowning, has been for years, and someone's finally thrown her a life preserver. The question is whether she can grab it without losing herself completely. They're on the third course when Dominic finally appears. He's changed into casual clothes, jeans, and a dark sweater that somehow make him look more dangerous than the suit did. There's blood on his knuckles. Lucia doesn't comment, just gestures to his seat. Wash your hands first. He does, comes back with knuckles clean but swelling. He sits, accepts the plate a servant sets in front of him, and eats like nothing's wrong. Luca signs something. Dominic responds, his signing choppy but understandable. Just business. I'm fine. You're hurt. I've been hurt worse. The casual acceptance of violence makes Maya's stomach turn. But Luca just nods and goes back to eating, like his father coming home bloody is normal. Maybe for him, it is. How's your grandmother? Dominic asks Maya, changing the subject. Better. The new medication is helping. The nurse you hired is wonderful. Good. He takes a drink of wine. Tomorrow we need to talk about your security. Marco will brief you on protocols, where you can go, who you can see. It's important that you follow these rules, Maya. They're not suggestions. I understand. Do you? His eyes bore into hers. Because I don't think you understand what you've walked into. This isn't a game. This isn't a movie. The people who killed your parents are still out there, and if they find out you're alive, I said I understand. Her voice is sharper than she intends. You don't have to keep reminding me that I'm in danger. I'm very aware. Something flickers across his face. Respect, maybe. Or surprise that she's pushing back. Fair enough. He returns to his food. The music room is yours. Use it whenever you want. I've arranged for sheet music to be delivered. Whatever you need. Thank you. Don't thank me. Family takes care of family. There's that word again. Family. It should feel comforting, but instead it feels like a chain, binding her to something she's not sure she wants to be part of. After dinner, Lucia takes Luca up to bed, leaving Maya and Dominic alone in the dining room. The servants have cleared the table, disappeared into whatever rooms they occupy when not needed. Walk with me, Dominic says. It's not a question, But Maya follows him anyway, through French doors onto a veranda that overlooks the gardens. The night air is cool, carrying the scent of jasmine and something else night-blooming flowers she doesn't recognize. Dominic lights a cigarette, offers her one. She shakes her head. I didn't know you smoked. I don't. Usually. He takes a drag, exhales slowly. Today was a long day. The blood on your hands? Someone needed to be reminded that the Salvatores aren't weak, that we don't tolerate disrespect. His voice is flat, emotionless. I handled it. By beating someone? By sending a message. He looks at her, and in the dim light from the house, his eyes are shadowed. Does it bother you? Knowing what I do? Maya considers lying. But he'd see through it. Yes. But I also understand it. This world has rules, and violence is one of them. Your mother understood that too. That's why she ran. He flicks ash over the railing. She was smart. She chose love and safety over family and power. And she was happy. For a while. Until someone killed her for it. Yes. He's quiet for a moment. I won't let that happen to you. Whatever it takes, whoever I have to hurt, you'll be safe. The promise is absolute, terrifying. What if I don't want that? Maya asks, softly. What if I don't want people hurt because of me? Too late. He meets her eyes. You're a Salvatore now. People will be hurt because of you. The only question is whether they're your enemies or your family. The words hang between them, cold and final. I should go to bed, Maya says. Tomorrow sounds like it's going to be overwhelming. Maya. He catches her wrist as she turns. Not hard, just enough to stop her. I know this isn't what you wanted. I know you'd rather be anywhere but here. But you are here. And you're alive. Don't waste that by pretending you can go back to being nobody. I liked being nobody. Nobody doesn't get threatened. Nobody doesn't have her parents murdered. His grip tightens slightly. You stopped being nobody the moment your mother was born a Salvatore. You just didn't know it yet. He releases her, turns back to his cigarette, and his garden, and his empire of shadows. Maya leaves him there, walks back through the house that's both prison and sanctuary, and climbs the stairs to her too luxurious room. She checks her phone. No new messages. Maybe the threat was just that, an empty threat meant to scare her. Or maybe they're watching, waiting, planning their next move. She sets her phone on the nightstand, climbs into bed, and lies awake staring at the ceiling. Somewhere in this house, Dominic Salvatore is probably still on that veranda, smoking and thinking violent thoughts. Somewhere else, Luca is sleeping peacefully, dreaming of music. And somewhere out in the night, enemies are circling. Maya pulls her mother's locket from beneath her shirt, holds it tight, and wishes things were different. But wishes don't change reality. And reality is that she's a Salvatore now, whether she likes it or not. All she can do is try to survive it. Maya wakes to piano music drifting through her door. She finds Luca at the Steinway, struggling through the lullaby she taught him. Dominic appears beside his son, sits at the bench, his hands gentle on the keys. Like this, he says softly, demonstrating. Feel the time, let it breathe. They play together, and the tenderness breaks Maya's heart. This is the Dominic no one sees, just a father teaching his son. When Luca signs better, Dominic glances toward the door and sees Maya. Much better, he says, then to Maya. Will you play with us? She sits between them, hyper-aware of his proximity. Luca signs. Something happy. Something that doesn't sound like goodbye. They play Beethoven's Ode to Joy. When they finish, Luca hugs Maya, and over his head, Dominic mouths, "Thank you." After Luca leaves for lessons, they sit alone on the bench. His mother was pregnant when the Marconis killed her, Dominic says quietly. A daughter. We were going to name her Isabella, after your mother. Maya's breath catches. I'm so sorry. They meant to kill me. Gabriella died because I chose my son over business for one afternoon. His hand covers hers on the keys. This life takes everything. But I will keep you safe, whatever it costs. The intensity makes her shiver. This isn't just about duty. Shopping with Lucia is overwhelming. Designer boutiques, clothes that actually fit, kindness Maya isn't used to accepting. Over lunch, Lucia says, "You're waiting for the catch. The cost is that you're part of this family now, The danger, the loyalty. When Dominic needs you, you'll be there. And if I can't? Maya asks. Then you'll learn. Or you'll break. Back at the estate, Maya's phone buzzes. Your grandmother has taken a turn. Come to Street Catherine's immediately. She runs for Marco, still in her dress, barefoot. My grandmother, I need to get there now. The drive is endless. Maya bursts into Nana's room expecting crisis. Instead, she finds her grandmother confused but alive, and a man in a nurse's uniform who definitely isn't Nurse Patricia. He turns, gun raised, and Marco slams into Maya from behind. The shot goes wide. Marco fires twice. The fake nurse drops. They put a hit on you, Marco says, showing her a phone with her photo and a price. Marconi family. Dominic arrives like an avenging angel, his face absolutely cold. He cups Maya's face. Are you hurt? No, Marco saved me. Your grandmother is being moved to the estate. 24-hour security. His voice is steel. They came for you in a hospice. There are no rules anymore. Tomorrow, we go to war. That night, after Nana is settled in the estate's private medical facility, Maya finds herself in the music room. She plays Rachmaninoff, dark and desperate. Dominic appears in the doorway. You play like you're fighting a war. Maybe I am. He sits beside her. Every decision I make could get someone killed. That's the burden of being the boss. Then why do it? Because if not me, then who? Someone who'd hurt Luca? His eyes are full of old pain. This is my duty, my curse. Play with me, he says softly. They play for release. Together, hands occasionally brushing, sending electricity through her. When they finish, he turns to her. If I'm reading this wrong, tell me now. Reading what wrong? This. Us. The way I can't stop thinking about you. His thumb brushes her lip. Tell me you don't feel it too. I feel it, she admits. He kisses her, desperate and hungry. His hand tangles in her hair, pulling her closer. When they finally break apart, his forehead rests against hers. This is a terrible idea. He murmurs. The worst. She agrees. I'm dangerous. I have enemies who'll use you against me. They're already trying to kill me anyway. He laughs, rusty. God help me, but I want you. Then take it, Maya says, while we're both still alive to want something. He kisses her again, lifts her onto the piano. They don't go further than kisses and touches, but by the time they stop, Maya is wrecked. Tomorrow, you're going to war, she asks. His face hardens. Yes, the Marconis need to understand that. Attacking you means attacking me. And if you're killed, I'm not going to die. I'm too determined to see where this goes. With you. She lets herself sink into his embrace, just for a moment. People like them don't get happy endings. Just moments. Stolen and precious and fleeting. She'll take what she can get. Part 3. The Reckoning. Maya wakes alone in her bed, fully clothed, with the taste of Dominic still on her lips. Sunlight streams through the windows. Somewhere below, she hears raised voices. She dresses quickly and follows the sound to Dominic's office. The door is open. Inside, Dominic stands behind his desk, surrounded by his men. Marco Paolo, Tony, and others she doesn't recognize. Their faces are grim. Don't care what it costs, Dominic is saying. I want every Marconi asset identified. Their clubs, their warehouses, their fronts. We hit them all. Tonight. That's a declaration of total war, Marco says carefully. Once we do this, there's no going back. Every family in the city will have to choose sides. Good. Let them choose. And let them see what happens when someone comes after mine. Maya steps into the doorway. You shouldn't be here, Dominic says, but his voice is softer than his words. This is about me. I should be here. He studies her for a moment, then nods to his men. Give us a minute. They file out, leaving Maya and Dominic alone. He looks exhausted, like he didn't sleep. His shirt is wrinkled, his tie loosened. There's a bottle of whiskey on the desk, half empty. You've been planning this all night, she says. Yes, and you're really going to start a war. Because of me. Because of you. Because of my father. Because of everyone the Marconis have killed over the years. He comes around the desk, takes her hands. This was always coming, Maya. You're just the catalyst. People are going to die. Yes. Bad people. People who deal drugs to kids, who traffic women, who murder innocent families in their beds. His grip tightens. The Marconis aren't businessmen, Maya. They're animals. And I'm putting them down. She searches his face, sees the cold determination there. This is who he is, who he's always been. A man capable of terrible violence in service of what he believes is right. When do you leave? She asks quietly. 6 hours. I'll be back by dawn. And if you're not? Then I won't. He pulls her close, buries his face in her hair. Marco has instructions. You and Luca will be taken somewhere safe. Somewhere the Marconis can never find you. You'll have money, new identities, everything you need. I don't want money. Her voice breaks. I want you alive. I'm coming back. He tips her chin up, forces her to meet his eyes. I promise you, Maya. I'm coming back. He kisses her, and it tastes like goodbye. The day passes in agonizing slow motion. Lucia tries to distract her with wedding magazines. Apparently she's already planning something for the future. Luca plays the lullaby for her 3 times, each iteration better than the last. Nana sleeps, her breathing more labored than yesterday. At 5 o'clock, Dominic appears in the music room where Maya is pretending to practice. He's dressed for war. Black tactical clothing, bulletproof vest barely visible under his jacket. His face is hard, expressionless. The Mafia boss, not the man who kissed her last night. I'm leaving, he says. Luca runs to him, wraps small arms around his waist. Dominic kneels, signs something that makes Luca nod seriously. Then he kisses his son's forehead and stands. Keep him safe, he says to Maya. I will. He starts to leave, then turns back. In 3 strides, he's across the room, pulling her into his arms, kissing her like it's the last time, fierce and desperate, and full of everything they haven't said. When he pulls away, his eyes are burning. In case I don't get the chance. Later I'm falling for you, Maya Russo. Completely. Dangerously. And I don't regret a second of it. Then he's gone, and the house feels emptier for his absence. The hours crawl by. Maya sits with Luca, playing games, reading stories, pretending everything is fine. Lucia appears with dinner. Neither of them eats. Guards patrol with increased frequency, their faces tense. At midnight, gunfire erupts in the distance. Maya freezes, Luca's hand tight in hers. It started, Lucia says from the doorway. Her face is pale but composed. Come, we should all be together. They gather in the main sitting room. Lucia, Maya, Luca, Teresa, and half a dozen guards. Waiting. The clock ticks, more distant gunfire, sirens. At 2 a.m, Maya's phone buzzes. Unknown number. Her heart stops. He's walking into a trap. The warehouse on Chupatulas. The Marconis knew he was coming. Get out of that house now. Maya's blood runs cold. She shows Lucia. It could be a trick, Lucia says, to get you to leave where you're protected. Or it's real. And Dominic is dying while we sit here safe. They stare at each other. Maya sees her own fear reflected in Lucia's eyes. If I go to him and it's a trap, I die, Maya says. If I stay here and it's real, he dies. That's not a choice. Maya, where's the warehouse? Chupitula Street? Marco appears. You can't go there. It's a war zone. Then it's a good thing I'm a Salvatore. Maya stands, her chin lifted. Give me a gun and drive me there. Or I'll steal a car and go myself. Marco looks at Lucia, who closes her eyes briefly, then nods. Get her a vest, Lucia says, and Marco bring him home. The warehouse district is chaos. Burning cars, shattered glass, bodies in the street. Marco drives like a man possessed. 2 other SUVs flanking them. They screech to a halt outside a massive warehouse. The front is riddled with bullet holes. More bodies, most wearing Marconi colors. He's inside, Marco says, reading something on his phone. Surrounded. We have men trying to reach him, but Maya doesn't wait. She's out of the SUV, running toward the warehouse entrance despite Marco shouting behind her. The interior is a nightmare. Smoke. Fire. The sound of gunfire echoing off metal. She runs through shipping containers, following the sound, and finds him. Dominic is backed into a corner with 3 of his men, pinned down by at least a dozen Marconis. He's bleeding from his shoulder, his face smeared with blood and soot. But he's still fighting, still shooting, still very much alive. Until the Marconi boss, a fat man Maya recognizes from Dominic's intelligence files, steps into view with a gun pointed at Dominic's head. "Should have stayed in your lane, Salvatore," he sneers. "Now I'm going to kill you, take your territory, and make your son watch." Maya doesn't think. She pulls the gun Marco gave her and fires. The place, recoil nearly knocks her over. The shot goes wide, but it's enough to make the Marconi boss turn. His eyes widen. "You." "Me," Maya says, and fires again. This time, she doesn't miss. The boss drops, a red bloom spreading across his chest. The remaining Marconis freeze in shock, and Dominic's men storm in from the other entrance, weapons blazing. The fight is over in seconds. Bodies drop. The air fills with cordite. And then silence, broken only by someone's labored breathing. Dominic staggers forward, clutching his shoulder. His eyes find Maya, and something in his expression breaks. "What the hell are you doing here?" he rasps. "Saving you," apparently. Her hands are shaking so hard she drops the gun. He closes the distance, pulls her against him with his good arm. "You could have been killed. You stupid, brave, impossible woman. You're welcome." He laughs, the sound pained and disbelieving. Then he kisses her, surrounded by bodies and smoke and the wreckage of war. When they pull apart, Marco is there. "Sir, we need to move. Police are 3 minutes out." "Then move." Dominic doesn't let go of Maya. "And someone get me a medic. I'm bleeding all over the woman I love." Maya's breath catches. "What?" "You heard me." His eyes are fever bright. "I love you. Stupidly. Completely. And if you ever do anything this reckless again, I'll lock you in a tower." "You love me." "Say it again." "I love you, Maya Russo. Now can we please get out of here before I bleed to death?" The aftermath is swift and brutal. The remaining Marconi leadership surrenders within hours. Their territory is absorbed by the Salvatores. Rival families, seeing which way the wind blows, pledge loyalty. By the time the sun rises, Dominic Salvatore controls half of New Orleans. And he did it for the woman who walked into his life playing a forgotten lullaby. The doctor patches him up at the estate. Bullet went through clean. No, major damage. He'll have a scar, but he'll live. Maya sits with him in his bedroom the first time she's been inside. It's surprisingly plain. A large bed, dark furniture, windows that overlook the gardens. No ostentation, no excess. Just a room where a man sleeps alone and dreams of peace he'll never have. Until now. "You shouldn't have come," he says for the 10th time. "You shouldn't have walked into a trap. I didn't know it was a trap, because you were too focused on protecting me to protect yourself." She touches his face gently. "We're a pair, aren't we? Both too stubborn to let the other die. I meant what I said. I love you. I know." She kisses him softly. "I love you too. Even though you're dangerous and violent and occasionally terrifying." "Only occasionally? Don't push it." He pulls her down beside him, careful of his shoulder. They lie together as dawn breaks, survivors of a war that was always coming. "What happens now?" Maya asks. Now we rebuild. The Marconi territory needs to be stabilized. Rival families need to be reminded why they don't cross us. And you," he turns to look at her, "you need to decide if you can really live in this world. Because after tonight, everyone knows who you are, what you mean to me. There's no going back to being nobody. I don't want to go back." She meets his eyes. "I want forward, with you, with Luca, with this family, as messed up as it is. It's going to be hard. I'm a Salvatore. We don't do easy," he smiles, real and genuine. "No, we don't." 3 months later, the wedding is small by Salvatore standards, just family and close associates. The garden is transformed with flowers and lights, and Nonna sits in the front row in her wheelchair, crying happy tears. She's held on longer than anyone expected, determined to see her granddaughter married. Luca is the ring bearer, signing excitedly to everyone who'll watch. He still doesn't speak, but he's started humming along when Maya plays. The doctors say it's a good sign. Maya walks down the makeshift aisle in a dress. Lucia helped her choose simple, elegant, nothing like the fancy gowns in magazines. She wears her mother's locket and her father's ring on a chain. a blend of both families, both histories. Dominic waits at the altar in a black suit, and when he sees her, his face transforms. Pure love and wonder, visible to everyone. The ceremony is traditional, the vows they wrote themselves. They promise to protect each other, to build something worthy of the family name, to raise Luca together, to face whatever comes side by side. When the priest says, "You may kiss the bride," Dominic does, thoroughly, to whoops and applause. As they walk back down the aisle as husband and wife, Maya catches sight of someone watching from the garden's edge. A woman in her 60s, elegant, with eyes that look familiar. She blinks, and the woman is gone. "Did you see?" Maya starts. "See what?" Dominic asks. "Nothing, just a shadow." But later, when they're cutting the cake, she finds an envelope tucked under her bouquet. Inside, a note in Italian. "Your mother would be so proud. Dance at your wedding, tesoro. Don't waste a moment of joy." An old friend in a photograph. Her mother, young and beautiful, standing with an older woman who looks like the figure Maya saw. On the back, in faded ink, Isabella and Francesca. Sisters in all but blood. Maya shows Dominic, who studies it carefully. Francesca Marconi, the old boss's sister. She disappeared 30 years ago after helping Isabella escape. "We thought she was dead. She's alive. And she came to my wedding. She's saying goodbye," Dominic says quietly, giving her blessing. "The last link to your mother's past." Maya clutches the photo, tears streaming. Her mother, smiling and free. Before the fire. Before the running. Just a young woman in love with the possibility of happiness. "Dance with me," Dominic says, pulling her onto the makeshift floor where Lucia and Marco are already swaying to soft jazz. So they dance, under the stars, surrounded by family and guards and the life they've built from violence and loss. Luca watches with shining eyes, and Nonna wipes her tears, and somewhere in the shadows, maybe Francesca watches too. The music swells. Maya rests her head on Dominic's shoulder, feels his heart beating steady and strong, and thinks about the lullaby that brought them together. "Ninna nana, ninna o, questo bimbo a cielo do." Who do I give this child to? To the angels, to fate, to hope. Or maybe, Maya thinks, to each other. To the family we choose and the love we fight for and the moments of joy we steal from darkness. She lifts her head, kisses her husband, and lets herself be happy. For now, in this moment, that's enough. The music room is full of sound. Luca, now 11, plays a complicated Chopin piece with confidence beyond his years. Beside him on the bench, a little girl with dark curls and her father's eyes plunks out, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star," with determined concentration. "Very good, Isabella," Maya says from the doorway, her hand resting on her pregnant belly. Their third child, a son this time. "But remember what Papa taught you about tempo." Isabella, Ella for short, nods seriously, tries again. Better this time. Dominic appears behind Maya, wraps his arms around her, careful of her bump. "She has your talent. She has your stubbornness. Same thing." He kisses her neck. "Luca's teacher says he's ready for the conservatory, if he wants it." "Do you want it?" Maya calls to Luca. He turns, and his smile is answer enough. Then, shocking them all, he speaks. His voice is rusty, uncertain, but clear. "Yes, I want it." The room goes silent. Luca's eyes widen, like he's surprised by his own voice. Then Ella squeals, "Luca talked, Luca talked," and throws herself at her big brother. Dominic's arms tighten around Maya. She feels his chest hitch, knows he's fighting tears. "He talked," he whispers. "He talked," Maya confirms, her own voice breaking. They join their children at the piano, 4 of them crowded onto the bench, and play the lullaby together, the one that started everything. Luca's voice joins in, hesitant at first, then stronger. "Ninna nana, ninna o, questo bimbo a cielo do." And Maya realizes that the answer has changed. Not to the angels, not to fate, to family, to love, to the future they're building, one note at a time. Outside, the gates of the Salvatore estate stand strong. Guards patrol. Business continues. The empire thrives under Dominic's careful, brutal stewardship. But here, in this room, there's only music, only family, only the fragile, precious joy of a child finding his voice and a woman who played a forgotten lullaby and changed everything. Nonna passed peacefully 2 years ago, long enough to meet both her great-grandchildren. Her last words were in Sicilian. "You chose well, tesoro. You chose love." Maya thinks about that as she plays, about choices and fate and the strange paths that lead us home. She chose this life, this dangerous, complicated, beautiful life. And she'd choose it again. Every time. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.